Hi everyone, welcome to this debate for the role of postgraduate and international officer for next year's SU officers. I'd like to start off if each of our candidates could please briefly introduce yourself, just your name and what you're studying.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm doing MSc Computer Science right now, and I'm from Malaysia, so I'm both international and postgrad.
Hi, I'm Umna and I'm a postgrad student studying MSc in clinical psychology. I'm from India, so yeah, I'm to both international and postgrad. So I'm very thrilled for this debate and this election is going really well. So I'm really excited, look forward. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mercy Martins. I'm in my third or final year PhD in education and I'm from Nigeria. So yeah, international and postgrad. Thank you everyone.
Thanks very much. I'd also just like to briefly add that our fourth candidate, Ishita Mehra, is ill today, so she will not be present. To briefly introduce the format of this debate for our candidates and for everyone watching. With each question, the candidates will have 1 minute to answer uninterrupted. After this 1 minute, up to 2 candidates can choose to challenge them on any of the points they've raised, and they have 30 seconds to respond per rebuttal, after which we will move on to the next question. Right, so first question. What is the biggest issue you've heard voiced by postgraduate and international students, and how do you plan to address it? Brian, let's start with you.
So I've actually spoken with a lot of postgrads here, and the first issue which usually comes out is that some of the processes are unclear sometimes, and sometimes when they look for information, they find stuff from previous years where the information is inconsistent, and there are some times where they accidentally contact people who might not be here anymore. So these were the main issues that they actually brought up to me. And I think it would be easier to fix the issue if we could work with the school and the SU to make sure that the main pages are always up to date so that people can find their way through the websites and get the information easier.
Thanks very much. Do the other candidates have a challenge to raise? You could raise your hands. Right. Just one challenge that I'd like to raise. You've mentioned postgraduate students. What have you heard from other international students?
Okay, so from international students, this is for all international, not just postgrads, but also undergrads. They have told me that when they were doing their visas, there was some spaces which are unclear, but I understand that visas are not managed by the university, they are managed by the government, but it would be very helpful if the signposting on the web page for the visas would be clearer so that they know who to contact so that they can get help easier.
Thanks very much. Umna, you go next.
Yeah, so with me, there are loads of issues actually. Both international and postgrads have raised up. As in, there should be exam technique workshops because after their graduation, mostly people are turning up for a master's here or like a PhD. They have work experience, like they have been working after the 1 degree, and because of that, there has been a gap. So they're not very familiar with the system here because they're internationals. They're in their own countries, the education system structure and like curriculums have been completely different. So I believe like before we begin with the exams, I think there should be certain workshops that should be conducted as in to make them have an idea how the system works, how the marking goes on, how they're assessed. So I think this should be one big issue. Apart from that, there is another thing I would like to address. There is very little space or like very less amount of space for like social space, I would say, on campus for postgrad. So I'm advocating for that as well. It's on my manifesto. Thank you.
Do the other candidates have a challenge to raise? Mercy, if you could go next.
Okay, thank you very much. So the question you asked is about the biggest issue, but then we have two components to this for the PG and international students. For most PG and international students, one of the biggest issue is not feeling like they are part of the community, especially because for international students that are also PG students, they are coming to the university, starting a master's, not feeling like they know their way around. So that is why one of my biggest points is building a very strong sense of community in the university. There's also the thing about difference. Most of us, most international students, coming here is their first time living where they are familiar with. So when they come here, they struggle, and that also affects their well-being. That is why the community, a stronger community space that is very inclusive, can make them feel more integrated into the system. And then there's also the thing about better support at progression points, because we're looking at postgraduate students that have the master's student, the distance learning student, the doctoral student, they all have different needs. So ensuring that they have the right support, especially from career to from like
That's
masters.
wonderful. Thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you.
Do either of the other members yes?
So the things you mentioned, I think they're pretty much, if not a lot, catered by the community FTU community officer and the postgrad officer. Like obviously, because they are looking after the community and they're apart, like they are catering international needs of students when they are here. Because I believe when I was coming last year from India to this university, we were made sure that we had cultural mixes and like nights. There were a lot of socializing events that uh, like indulgent students to engage with each other. So, do you think that there's something lacking already?
You as well.
Oh, thank you very much. I think we approach this from very different approaches. University is doing something, of course, but they can do better. And everything I've said is not something I'm thinking they need. I have served for 2 years at the faculty and departmental level, and this has been a continuous concern. And that is why most of our programs are geared towards making them feel part of the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Question 2. Your duties as an officer would include representing both postgraduate and international officers. How do you plan to split your focus between these two groups? And how do you plan on ensuring the voices of both groups are heard? Mercy, if we can start with you.
Well, thank you very much. I think this is a very important and interesting question. I think um, most international students can be undergrad, can be masters, and can also be doctoral students. And for postgraduate students, we're looking at masters and doctoral students. So to split my interest, one of the things I'm very big on, even at the faculty level right now, is working with already existing representatives to ensure that we hear feedback from them about what they actually need. Because the need of an international undergrad student is different from the need of a postgraduate international student or like a postgraduate international student. So using feedback forms or using or leveraging already existing representative, we can actually be able to like ensure that whatever we are doing is actually geared to their support and not doing what we think they want to, what we think they would prefer. That is why one of my hashtags is Mercy Listens for community representation, representatives that listen to them and not guess what they want. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any challenges? Just one thing to add from me. You mentioned the sort of overlapping differences or issues that these two groups have. But how do you plan to actually tackle some of these issues that you talked about?
So, for example, because I come into this role with different experiences. One of the issues I know most international students, especially at master's level, have, especially students coming from places with different language than the UK, is feeling like they need to have more language classes. I need to have opportunities for them to engage and speak more. So having programs like the Global Lounge, it can also enable them to talk to each other and talk to other people and have avenue outside the classroom where they can actually talk to other people and become more confident.
That's okay.
Yeah, so this role is about postgraduates making center the students who are in PhD and masters. PhD students are like here for more than 1 year, whereas the master students are here for only 1 year. So there should be complete like different planners. As if I am chosen as the postgrad officer, I would make planners, and then I would collaborate with society heads as well as the academic reps. Uh, I'll ask them to bring voices of students, and then also students can directly approach me because they are the center of the ground. So I'll make sure that I heard and I listened to everything, and through the societies I would get the feedback from a lot of students, because here in Bath there are like 5,000 over 5,000 students who are internationals on campus. They are from 140 communities, different regions. They're representing different cultures. So like I need to know what all problems they're having ever since like they're in this campus, in this university.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Are there any challenges? One question from me on that. You've talked about how you plan to deliver for both groups of students, but how do you actually plan on splitting your time and resources between the two?
Yeah, so through survey method, I would say it would be really good, because I think when the groups are made, like a class group is made, there should be sent a survey for the international students so that they can, register if there is any problem they are dealing with, especially during the beginning of time. They're completely different from like turning up from completely different country. So that they're very naive sometimes, and like sometimes they're really lost. They're feeling shy to interact. So we have to make sure that overall well-being is being catered.
Thank you. Brian.
Okay, so actually I've thought about this before and made up two plans. So this is mainly for postgraduate students I'll be talking about first. So most of us postgraduates here, we will be here for limited time compared to the undergrads. So we need the clearer information so that we feel more relaxed and gathered, so that we can actually go to our studies better. And this would be done by having surveys where we actually ask students, is there anything you're unsure of or need clarification, so we can gather everything. And for international students, they'll be here for a long time, so they need to get used to the environment. So it would be helpful if we actually guide them to communities where they can actually speak to their peers. And I know that some of them are shy and feel that I might not speak the language well enough to actually participate, but I can assure them that your English level doesn't matter. As long as you're there, you'll make friends.
Yes, Mercy.
Yeah, when you were talking about postgraduate students, you're talking about postgraduate students having limited time. That means you're narrowing down your focus to master students, it seems. Because doctorate students spend equal amount of time as undergrad or even more. So how do you want to navigate that?
Well, I think limited time as well. So for PhD students, they'll be focusing on their research. So they might not have more outside time to actually talk to people. So if they had clearer communication with their people, they can get their work done faster. So they will have more time to actually integrate with the community. So they won't feel isolated. And they can get their stuff done better and possibly
Thanks
get
very much.
better stuff.
So just to clarify on your point, Brian, do you believe that PhD students are part of your responsibilities as a postgraduate officer?
I believe that all postgrads should be a part of my responsibility. It doesn't matter if they are masters or they are PhD. As long as I'm able to support them, I should be there for them.
Thanks very much. Question 3. So your work involves representing postgraduate and international students in all aspects of their university life, be it academics or their life outside of work. Who do you expect to be working alongside in both the university and the students' union to deliver on your promises? If we can start with you, Amna.
Yeah, I think society heads as well as the reps, along with because now, apart from School of Management, almost all of the departments we have academic advisors who are like catering to students as part of group. Like there is a lot in one advisor to one group. So I think if they know what the problem is, they can definitely reach up to us, and we shall be aware of what the problem is. So yeah, those three would be my, like I would say, a good medium to know.
Thanks very much. Any challenges? Just one question for me. What exactly, you've mentioned those three groups, what exactly do you expect to be doing with them, and what challenges do you expect to be tackling with each of them?
First of all, I would say there should be at least one faculty advisor who should be there for only one thing, that if international students have any problem or not. I think there might be some barriers raising up, but I feel I would advocate for that because I need to know what the problems are. If somebody is hesitating, that person, like the international faculty member, would make sure that every week they're sending any survey things so that they know the problem.
That's interesting. Brian, if we could have you next.
Okay, so obviously I would say we need to work with the student body. Like for my department, I'm the academic rep, so I would have to work with the reps to actually get to know feedback from the students easier, so I can send out the surveys and ask them to share it around. After getting the information that I need, then I'll probably bring up to the faculty so that we can actually discuss what might have to change, or maybe how can we better signpost so that people know what systems are in place. And then other than that, we will have to speak with possibly people from other universities so that we can actually see what systems have been put in place that have been effective, that we can actually use to change our current systems to help the students above more.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? One question from me, Brian. You mentioned a couple of people, a couple of types of people you want to work with in the university and from other universities. But is there anyone in the Students' Union who you'd like to work alongside?
Okay, so for the Students' Union, I think I would probably be working most alongside activity officers and the sports officers, because with the activity officers, we can make sure that everyone gets a chance to participate and that they know what activities go on in the university, so they know what they can go for. And for sports, I know a lot of students are interested in sports, they just might not be able to play it because they haven't found a group they know to join sports with, so it will be better that way.
Thanks very much. Mercy,
Oh.
next.
Thank you very much. I think this is very important because I currently hold many positions within the SU, and I can see how these positions all feed into each other. So we have the rest line that deal with the halls. These are people I'm going to work very well with, because for most international students, especially master's students, their first year, when they're coming into the university, they need a lot of support to get to know each other. And Rest Life, as a Rest Life ambassador myself, we hold a lot of events in the halls to ensure they come together. We also have academic reps across all the faculties in School of Management. I'll work with them to know what they have noticed to ensure that we are speaking with people that speak directly with the students. The community and activities manager, of course, because we have to collaborate to bring up really an amazing event for the students. The director of studies and experience for undergrad for the international students, and director of studies for the masters and the doctoral students as well. SU groups and leadership. So then we can also, when we have all these challenges, we can have focus groups and forums that we're currently doing in the faculty as well. Thank you.
Are there any challenges?
Yes. So, do you think School of Management is lacking, somewhere other than that, if you compare it with the other departments?
So it depends on what you mean by if the School of Management is lacking, because this is not looking at the schools in different, in looking at the schools in particular, or looking at the university. For example, I know that in Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, I was able to curate with the Director of Studies a seasonal forum to address postgraduate needs. Right? I don't know if that has been done in School of Management, but when I become a postgrad officer, we check what is in place and how we can actually make new systems that work for them.
Thanks very much. Question 4. Many of the goals in your manifestos are long-term goals, but is there anything you hope to achieve within your first few weeks as officer? Mercy, if we could start with you.
Yes, this is a very interesting question because my hashtag is Mercy Listen. So within my first few weeks, I'm going to be doing a lot of forms using the reps already in place. I already have an understanding of how the reps work according to the Department of Faculty. So we'll do a lot of forms about what they would like to see, especially because, we have an election this year, but when I become the rep, we'll be having new students. So we need to know what the new students are looking for. And this is something we'll do within the first 2 weeks of arrival so that we can get them early and be able to tackle their needs very early. Thank you very much.
Are there any challenges? one question for you, Mercy.
Thank you.
How, when you complete these forms that you talk about,
Yes.
how will you ensure that in your responses, all students are being heard, including those who are less likely to reply to forms sent out by the Students' Union?
That's a very good question. Currently now, at the doctoral level, we have the doctoral voice where we meet with the faculty reps. We look at what students are saying and what the reps have noticed as well. So we use a multiple feedback loop where the forms is one way, but then also we talk to the rep, talk to the departmental rep to see what is happening. That way we're not just focusing on the forms. The form is one way, but no, it won't be the only way as well. And of course, I'll also say that my door is always open. I can also have like Instagram or social media platform for them to engage with me
Thanks
directly.
very much.
Thank you.
Brian, you can have you next.
Okay, so I have made a 100-day plan myself, so I would like to actually be able to identify the top 3 areas where students get confused most often. I'll be doing this probably through surveys which I'll send out, but I have actually seen that not everyone fills in surveys, so to make sure that I can get a bigger span of knowing what actually they might be confused about. Like I said on my Instagram, I'm someone who's approachable, so I'll be open for them to actually come to speak with me. I might even set up like cafe socials so that people who just want to hang out or maybe have stuff they want to say but do not know how to say it can come to speak to me. And after getting to know the top 3 areas where they get confused of, I would actually talk to the SU and the school to actually fix stuff so that the next batch of students, when they come in, they have more clarity, so they might feel less stress or even no stress at all when they have to go through all the processes.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? A question from me, Brian. Same question again. When you're talking to students, how do you plan to ensure that all voices are heard?
Okay, so I can't really ensure that every single person's voices are heard, but I ensure that I hear a majority of their voices. So from the majority, I will be able to know the people who might not be speaking to me, and I might even be able to actually approach those who might be too shy.
Thanks very much.
I think in the initial beginning, I would take small steps because it would be new for me as well. So I think I would go on with exam technique workshops first, so that when the students go ahead with their degree, they have an idea about how exams are being conducted, how the curriculum works here, how the marking scheme is. Apart from that, I think I would work on this little thing. I would have an initiative that there should be at least a 24/7 like vending machine all around the campus. And apart from that, maybe a cafe because there are people who are like studying for late night. They might need some snack or something. So that is one another thing. Apart from that, I'm also advocating for like more and more opportunities to get in touch with alumni. That would help students ensure like they have more clear idea about how are they going to proceed with their after their degree.
Thanks very much. Yes, Mercy.
If I'm correct, the question asks for the first 2-3 weeks. Do you think students will be interested to hear about examination workshops and hear from alumni when they're trying to settle into the university?
So, because as I mentioned in the initial, like, students are coming from different backgrounds, and some of them are very used and very like habitual of appearing in exams, and others are not very because they're like they have a 5 year gap or like something. So I think it's important enough like, for the initial start only for them to be very familiar about the exams and like the curriculum works.
Thanks very much. Next question. International students often feel added pressure outside of their studies with finances, housing, and visas, and these have been exacerbated by uncertainty in the current political climate. How do you plan to support international students in these aspects of their lives? Umna, if we could have you first.
Yeah, so many international students are there worrying about the post-study visa, and now it has gone down from 2 years to 18 months. So I think I would team up with the career cell, apart from like, so that I have more like idea about how the employability, how the visa guidance is proceeding, and then like together collaborating with them would give me a more sort of idea as to how we can just proceed with drafting a planner for the students. Then they'll also have a clarification, like clarity. This is why I mentioned I would want them to be in touch with the alumni, how people in their degree, how did they proceed forward with the visa guidance, sponsorship, and all of that.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? Question from me. You've talked about visas. Do you have any thoughts on how you would help international students with their housing issues?
Housing issues in terms of what?
Well, for example,
Like renter support?
yes, rental support and things like dealing with, getting
Familiar with
guarantors
Okay.
for their properties.
So I think that university has now proceeded like advocating as mentors, like third body after students have to like uh, get into a private accommodation. But yeah, I think with the career cell as well as Rest Life would help me with that. I would collaborate with them, and I think there should be a body. They are still proceeding with drafting one. So yeah.
Thanks very much. Brian, you have next.
Okay, so the three issues is housing, visas, and education in school. So for housing itself, I have actually witnessed people who, when they were coming over, they didn't manage to get accommodation and they sort of struggled with finding a guarantor and everything. I have actually supported them to Rest Life to find accommodations, but other than that, I do know that certain societies they actually do have the know-how and have people who actually help students find guarantors and stuff. And I know that currently in the summit, one of the points which we are trying to do is about this. And for the visas, we have the school's visa helping team. So after graduation, that's usually when postgrads need to worry about the visas. So speaking to them and getting the clear information which I can share with others would be the main thing I would be doing.
Thanks very much. There are any challenges. Question from you, Brian. You talked about housing and visas. Do you have any thoughts on assisting students with finances?
Okay, so for finances, we do have the finance team here where if they are having issues, they can get a loan with actually no interest, which I think I'll be signposting them mainly there. But if there's other methods to help them, I would try to learn more about it if I'm a matters officer and be able to help them better with a
Thanks very much. Mercy.
Oh, thank you very much. I think it is nice that the fact that I'm an international student, so some of their concerns are also concerns that I faced at some points as well. I think one of the first things I will do is work with the careers team to ensure that they have better support at key progression points. This is one of the main center point of my campaign as well. And also currently the Rest Life have partnership with also private housing. We do a lot of webinars. So we will also channel a collaboration with Rest Life and the SU to ensure that those webinars are broadcasted widely. So more students, especially undergrad and doctoral students that are moving from year one to year two, can get into housing faster. And with Rest Life, most of the risks are eliminated because they're more scrutinized. And also, we'll advertise more part-time jobs with the SU, and then maybe, if possible, work with stores we have in the university to look at having more meal deals, especially because of the cost of living crisis becoming more.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? Thank you. Next question. Postgraduate students often find it difficult to find community and belonging at university. What plans do you have to address this? Brian, if we can start with you.
Okay, so as people should know, for postgraduates now we have the postgrad network, which actually I saw now people coming and people who did not know each other met each other at the events and have managed to form a community for there. So I would say that to actually make it better, I would promote this postgrad network for the following year new postgrads are coming to university and also to advertise it more as like a university whole thing instead of just one other society which people can join.
Thanks very much. There are any challenges? Question from me, Brian. You talked about existing infrastructure in place support postgraduate students. Do you plan on introducing anything new, or will you be focusing on advertising the things which are existing in place?
I would say I would try to focus on the stuff we already have in place to make it the best version of what it can be. After that, then we can find what other ways can we actually support and add new systems after the current systems have been made to the best they can be.
Thanks very much. Umna, we have you next.
Yeah, so I think if I get elected, I'm going to advocate for community mixers, more and more community mixers, so that people are more familiar with, you know, knowing each other and then sharing problems. And then, so that is one thing. Apart from that, I think there should be accommodation mixers as well. Because here on campus we have Poland, and in Poland, Poland is huge, first of all. People know people there, but outside the accommodations which are being managed by university, the least we can do is, organize mixers so that people from Centurion House can meet people from Putney, and then they can also meet who the people are living in Canal Wharf. So yeah, I think that is how they would be more connected with each other, because there are literally people I don't know who are living near me. I'm living in Centurion House, but I don't know who's living in Putney or Canal Wharf. Apart from that, I think the community mixer would and the society things making them more engaging would help this a lot, because certain times people don't know who their classmates are.
Thanks very much. Yes, Mercy.
Yeah, we talked about community mixing within houses, but Rest Life is already doing this. We Rest Life currently do mixes sometimes in campus and outside campus to ensure that people from outside campus come together to meet. And sometimes when we have like events that are like a big event, they have it at different locations, so it's already in existence. So how do you want to strengthen what is already in existence? So what partnership are you looking to make to ensure what is already in existence can be benefited from more students, so to speak?
Yeah, I think I haven't ever been to a mixer that is, outside the university, be it like a accommodation mixer. My idea is to have more and more mixers with regard to the like accommodations that are being managed by the university. So I think that is not that much there. So I would believe I would take that more forward.
Thanks very much. Mercy.
Um, I think one of the first things I would do is to listen, which is the hashtag of my campaign, Mercy Listens. And when we listen, we can curate events based on what people enjoy, and also encourage them to actually start a group if it's something they find really fun. For example, I like to read fantasy novels, so if I want to have a group, if there is a group of people that like to read fantasy novels, I have found my community. So if there is no such group in the SU, I will create mine. So that's the kind of attitude I want to have. I want the student to have. And also, I would like to also introduce what we call the Global Lounge, which is the lounge where every 2 weeks we have international and postgraduate students come together and learn about a new culture. And then the culture, they don't know about it until they come that day. That way, it becomes the fun events that they're happy to come to. I also have like PG specific events, especially for all the PG students that will feel more comfortable.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? Question from you, Mercy. You've talked about encouraging postgraduate and international students postgraduate students to forming their own societies. This is already an option that's open to those students. So, what do you plan on doing new that wouldn't currently be available?
Yeah. What I think the option is open, but most students are not aware that it is very easy, because most of these students come from places where they have rigid system. In one of my classes, in my master's classes, I was telling students that if you feel you're out of place, why don't you form your own group? And they asked me, oh, we can do that. And I was like, yes, but because they're international students or they're postgraduate students, they don't realize how easy these things are. So we're going to do more popularity and marketing about how easy it is to form your own groups.
Thanks very much. Next question. What are the biggest challenges you foresee facing in this role, and how will you overcome them? Mercy, if we could start with you.
I think one of the biggest challenges that I have been thinking about is the idea of having international students to the postgraduate officer. Previous years, there's just been postgraduate officer, and this year they added international. And it's quite interesting because when I was thinking about this role, I was thinking about how to help masters and doctorate students, but now they have added undergrad into the mix. So I have to also find ways to ensure that I bring out events that are very engaging for the undergrad and find ways to also involve them in the international community. Because previously, when we talk about postgraduate officer, we're looking at master's level, but now it's no longer just master's level. And also doing events that fits different age groups, right? Because a doctorate student teamed event and an undergrad student team event is not going to be the same thing. So just trying to ensure that even though we're trying to have things that are fun, it's also fun for the appropriate level as well. Because some doctorate students are also teachers to undergrad students as well. So we have to manage those dynamics as well. That's what I think.
Any challenges? Question for me, Marcy. You talked about the variety of ages of international and postgrad students. Because of slight differences in the way that the education system works in different countries, international students can often come to university under the age of 18. How do you think that this would affect their university life, and do you plan to do anything to challenge this?
Yes, this is a very interesting question. I think one of the main things we have in mind, because even at the GTA, we are taught to have safeguarding. So one of the things, if we have international students under the age of 18, I think one of the things I would do is get certified as in about laws around safeguarding to ensure that they have really good experience as well. And then one of the things I know that faculties do is they keep an extra eye on those students, and I'll try to make sure that I work with the reps to keep an extra eye on them while they navigate really
Thanks
the
very much.
university.
Brian, we can have you.
Okay, so I think the biggest issue which I foresee in this role is that people might think that they should approach me immediately if they have questions. They might think that I should ask my friends first, but I want to be able to make them feel that you can just approach me immediately, even if you think it's a small issue which you should know the answer to. You shouldn't feel ashamed to ask, because I have been an international student in my undergrads and I didn't know a lot of things. It was a completely new culture, so I want them to feel that there's someone in this country which they can approach and understands what they're going through. Another thing which I think that will be another issue is that people might just not know that I'm here. So I want to make sure that if I'm elected, I will spread my position and I tell everyone that I'm here, introduce myself to all the new students as well, so that they know that there is someone here which we can talk to anytime, and this person can help us and they can contact who can probably help us in the end.
Thanks very much. Are there any challenges? Question for me, Brian. How do you plan to make it clear to students that you do have an open door policy?
Okay, so I know that we have the SCPAF YouTube page and the school advertises things. So if I'm elected, I'm pretty sure there will be a page where we actually tell people about ourselves. So I would be talking about it after elections. So
Thanks very much. We'll have you next.
Yeah, I think administrative delays might be a challenge for me. Like I mentioned, uh, the workshops with regard to the exams, or maybe like opening 24/7 vending machines. So there might be delays within the system. So I think like approaching people, because the process takes a long time. I have to turn up to for budgeting to finances, and then I have to turn up to career support to get the students touched with the alumni. So yeah, I think the big barrier is the administrative system that might be for me.
Challenge. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You said administrative system might be a challenge to you, but my question is, you haven't worked with the administrative system before concluding it will be a challenge to you, because from my experience working with them, they're very keen on fast tracking anything that involves students, especially if a lot of students are very interested in it. So why are you coming to this conclusion, and can you just walk us through your rationale?
Because I think when we talk about collaboration, like from different networks, then it might be very difficult, because if we are dealing with finance team and then careers team all together, and then there is problem with the budget, so that might be a problem.
Thanks very much. Mercy, if you can have the next. Oh, apologies. Um, to the sorry, all three of you asked.
yes.
Apologies. Next question. Um, it's not possible to achieve everything you might want to in a year as officer. What issues have you decided not to prioritize and why? Brian, have you first?
Okay, so the issues which I decided not to prioritize, I haven't really thought about what not to prioritize, so it's a bit hard for me to say, but if I'm thinking about it, it'll be more of like teaching people about all the different cultures, because I know as an international student, you want to share your culture with everyone, but it'll be better, I think, if you find a community which knows your culture and become a closer community with them. So I wouldn't be trying to make sure that everyone knows each other's cultures during my year in office. But that might be something I can make a plan for and recommend for the next officers in the future.
Thanks very much. Any challenge? Oh no. Next.
I really haven't actually thought about anything that I wouldn't prioritize because this role is very demanding because it has like 3 rounds: international students, be it postgrads or undergrads, and then international students, be it postgrad or PhD. So I think I would prioritize everything pretty much.
Thanks very much. Any challenges? Uh, no, just to challenge you on that again. So, obviously, you want to prioritize everything, but is there anything you think you may not be able to fully complete in the time scale in your year as officer?
Yeah, however, I myself a majors in psychology, but I think there are problems that student might be dealing mentally because they are international, they leave their home, they come all the way to this country to get education, the system is different. So the thing is, you don't want to open up. However, the university is doing excellent with having, you know, like options you can turn up to with regard to the if you're dealing mentally, if you're having some problem. So I think that would be a
Thanks
drawback.
very much. Any challenge?
Yeah.
Mercy.
Thank you very much. So, as someone that has worked with the SU leadership for 2 years, I had that in mind when I was curating my manifesto. So, the hashtag Mercy Listens is because all my priorities actually feed into each other. So, for example, I always talk about, oh, I want to listen to what they need. So, if what they need is stronger representation, then that becomes my number 1 priority. If what they need is better support at transition period, then that becomes my priority. If they want a more stronger, inclusive community, that becomes my priority. So my whole manifesto is riding on listening because I don't want to come to the office thinking, oh, I know what the students want and I saw that should be my priority. I want to listen to them and ensure that the leadership actually do what they want, when they want it, and we amplify their voice and get it done quickly. So that's how I'm going to prioritize by listening to the students. So that's why hashtag Mercy Listen.
Thanks very much. Any challenges? Mercy, just one thing to add to that. So you say you're going to prioritize based on what you hear from students. Is there anything you've heard from students already that you think will be difficult to complete or fully challenge within that your year as officer?
Yes, one of the issues I know I've heard from students have to do with well-being sports. It's something that some students talk about how it is not very easily accessible, and others talk about the stigma associated with needing well-being support because most of our international students come from backgrounds of Asia, Africa, where going for well-being support is not seen as a sign of strength. So looking at ways to remove that stigma and encouraging them to actually approach the well-being is something I don't know how long it will take. It will be a gradual process.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Final question. What do you think sets you apart from the other candidates running for this position? Umne, if we can start with you first.
I think being a master student myself, I am more dedicated towards listening, and then I'm not focused on like one thing, but I'm also my interdisciplinarily engaged with other students. Like for example, I got to know about this one problem that there are very less, very less links for AI and tech students on campus who are studying technology and computer sciences. So I think that is one of the priorities I have on my manifesto. And then socializing, like socially, I have a big mindset. Like I want people to engage, have mixers. I want collaborations to happen, and then this is how I will be more approached to.
Thanks very much. Any challenges? Mercy, we could have you next.
Okay. One of the I have many reasons why I think I'll be the best for this role, and one of them is I have 2 years experience doing SU leadership, focused at postgraduate student at the departmental and then at the faculty level. Um, I have 4 years experience of being an international student, not just at the University of Bath. So I'm also bringing a comparative experience into the role. I'm a GTA, so I teach students, so I engage with them. I work with Life already, and I understand how it's really important to include students, especially at the accommodation level, so I know how they feel at that level. I'm a peer mentor, which does not always have to be in my department. I also mentor new students. So I'm already talking to international students at this point. I also am a research assistant in an interdisciplinary project, so I understand how different fields have different priorities that they need. And lastly, I chair a collective that focuses on relational care and how I approach education. So I have different experiences from different areas that when you put it together, makes me an ideal candidate for this role. Thank you.
Any challenges? Brian.
Okay, so I think the thing which makes me different is that currently I actually been go around to all the different societies, so I sort of get the feel of like how the school is and why people join the societies and why some people might not have. And other than that, I'm actually one of the people which back home, some high schools actually do tell their students that they can message me to ask about like how is it when you went for a bachelor's in international? Is there anything which comes up or like they do even tell me questions like oh, I'm completely new to this and I'm nervous about so and so. So I think I would know like what type of stuff new students coming in would feel worried about and what current students might have felt worried about or are currently still worried about which need help.
Thanks very much. Any challenges? Okay, that's the end of all of our questions. We've had some great answers. If we could just close off with a 1-minute closing statement from each of you, just reiterating to everyone watching why they should vote for you. Brian, we start with you.
Okay, so thank you for listening to me for so long. I just want to be able to be there to help actually make postgraduate and international student life clearer, more connected, and actually easier to navigate for everyone. It doesn't matter whether it's physical or online, it has to be clear. And my focus will be on the practical improvements on communication, community, and support. And I believe that listening is the most important thing we can do, being transparent so everyone knows what is going on, and also working collaboratively with students, societies, as well as the school itself. So I hope that I have managed to support through this.
Thanks very much.
So I think my experience in the previous years with related to this role supports me a lot. In my undergraduate years, I was the president of the psychology club at my university for 3 years. I represented students. I held panel discussions, so I'm quite familiar with the role. And if elected, I think I would serve brilliantly my part. Apart from that, I also have experience in management. I have worked in a Montessori for more than 5 years, so I know what management looks like and like how to cater the needs of students. So I think that supports me pretty much a lot.
Thanks very much. Mercy.
Thank you so much. So for me, um, I have done this before, and I'm not asking you to trust me blindly. I'm saying check my track record. It's all there. I'm an international student myself, so I know how it feels like to be an international student and a postgraduate student as well. I have benefited from a lot of support from the university just because someone told me, oh, this support is available. And I would like to do that for many more students. I'm here to listen because I care. Even my research is about caring and sharing relational care to amplify the voices of people. So it's really lovely to get to do this role, to bring my research into practice. Vote for me for stronger representation, for better transition support, and to help build a strong community. I will listen because Mercy listens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.